Hi, my name is Cícero Moraes. I'm a 3D designer and I will try to explain you how OrtogOnBlender add-on works. I don't speak English very well, but we decided to create this material because a lot of people around the world started to send emails for us asking about how the add-on works. Well, I have some tutorials that explain how to install OrtogOnBlender in English, in French, and in Portuguese, obviously. But if you didn't read this material, I will inform this address in this video, in the description of the video. Well, the first thing we have to do is delete all objects in scene, and after you install OrtogOnBlender, you see here in this part the orto, here, orto, and when you click in orto, you will see all the buttons of the add-on. The first thing we have to do after delete the objects in the scene is import the CT scan, and you can do it automatically directly from the daikon file, clicking in this icon, is a directory icon in reconstrução da tomografia, that is CT scan reconstruction. You click here, and inside OrtogOnBlender directory you will see arquivos, that is file in English. Inside arquivos you will enter on tomografia, that is CT scan, and here you will see all the daikon files. I will click on accept, and before click here, that is convert daikon to 3D, or in Portuguese, converte daikon para 3D, you have to change this value because this CT scan is not a real CT scan, it's a fake CT scan, it's not a real patient. I will change it to 56, and other important thing is that you have to open the terminal together, the Blender, or open Blender by in the terminal to see all the outputs of Blender here. If you are in Windows, you can click here, Window, will be an option here that you can open the terminal. If you have on Linux, you can open directly, and if you have in Mac, you can open directly in terminal too. In the tutorial, you will see these options. So, I will click here, convert daikon para 3D, convert daikon to 3D, and see what's happened in the terminal. Here, first part of importing, that is the bone creation. You see the Redux mesh here, and after we will see the importing of skin reconstruction. It's almost ready, more some seconds or minutes. It depends on the processor of computer. Okay, we have now two objects here that automatically was imported by OrtogOnBlender. I will change to user orto. I put in wireframe, and I will select ossus, that is bone. Okay, and if I select the ossus bone and click in G key, you will see that if you move the bone, the skin will move together because the skin is son, or the bone is father of the skin. Okay, it was made apparent automatically skin to bone. Why we did this? Because it make easier the task off. I will see from the top. You can do it, for example, frente is front, atrás is bottoms, right, direita, left, esquerda, up, cima, down, baixo. If I see in top, I will see that the nose is pointed to the background. So I have to rotate it. But to rotate, I don't need to use the skin. I can hide the skin with 8 key. So I will select the bone and click on R, 180, enter. Okay, now you can see the nose pointed to the front of Sam. You can see the line of Y axis and the line of X axis, and I will move it with G until the bone be in the middle of these two lines. I will see in front. You remember that you can use the numlock keys. 1 front, 3 right, 7 up. Okay, here I will move in Z and I will put in the middle of the two lines that you can see here. After you move the bone here, we can see the other buttons. For example, we have some buttons of lines. This is a central vertical line. I will click here and will create a line, and you can use this line like a reference to move the bone and put it in a place that you can see the middle of the bone, the structure, and the line will be your reference. Here we have a horizontal line. You can move it to see if the bone is symmetrical. You can copy this with Shift and D and Z to move only in the Z axis. Okay, again. And if you see from the right, you can put a lateral line. You can move the line G. Here the skull already is in Frankfurt plane. We can see here. This is not necessary to rotate. So ready, we already have the bone rotated. If I press Alt 8, I can see again the skin, and like the skin is son of the bone, the skin was rotated together the bone. Now you can, if you already reconstructed the CT scan from other 3D for other Daikon editor, you can import here in import STL. That is the same thing of here, file import as STL. So we put here to make it easier. And after we did this, we can start to, for example, 8, we can start to the process of segmentation, because here we have the skull together, and we have to take off this mandible, because all is only one object. So I select the bone, I enter in edit mode, I select a base vertex, and here we have two buttons. cell mais and cell menos. That is selection more and selection less. If I start to click and select more, cell mais, you will start to select the neighbor vertices. You can to click here until finish the part of mandible. So if you click a lot, like here, you can click in less, selection less, and it come back. But I saw that I can selection more until finish here. Okay, and the other side I only put in Z to wireframe. I press C. I put the selection region more bigger, rotating the scroll to down, and I click in the scroll and I deselect the part we use. Okay, now here is a part that I can deselect it to. Okay, now I can separate it with P and option selection. Now I have the mandible separated, and I can change the center of rotation. You can see the rotation is here. If I press R, the rotation will be made by here, but I can click here. So I click it with the cursor and I change here to 3D cursor, and I can to rotate. Okay, I will put the original option again. Now we can continue with the process. The next part is to create photogrammetry or scanning the face. So I will delete this part because I'm not a good programmer and I don't know how to avoid this behavior. The same address I put here will appear below. So I have to delete, or simply I will open here, but before open I will change to the other layer to avoid put together other objects, and I will open the directory, the same directory we used before, but instead open tomography, we will open photogrammetria, that is photogrammetry. Here I will change to see the thumbnails. Here have a series of photos that we will use to make the scan, the facial scan. Okay, I will accept, and you can to click here, but this process I will click. Okay, this process take more or less 10 minutes, and I will stop the record here, and when the process finished I will come back to continue with the tutorial. Okay? Okay, the process was finished, and now we have a face here. The face already was imported, and you can see the texture of this face clicking Alt more Z, and we can see the texture. Important thing to say is that when you make this process here, the Blender already put automatically the files, the image files inside this file. And the other thing is, in some computers, I don't know why, this button doesn't work. If it happen, you can use these options. This option is OpenMVG, developed by Pierre Moulon, and here is SMVS, developed in German by Dr. Goezelli. These two options work more or less the same way, but the first option is faster than the second. Okay? Well, so we have the face here, and I will see orbiting the sand. I will see the face by the front, and we have to do two things here. The first thing is rotate the face to the position of the sand, because if we see in front, the face will be rotated in this way, because this I had to orbit the sand. So we have to rotate the face, and the second thing is put the face in the scale, because when you work with photogrammetry, usually the model doesn't in the real scale. So we have to change the scale to put it in the real size. And we will do it here in Alinha Faces, that is Align Faces. So here we have the first option, that is Alinha com a câmera, or Align with the camera. To make this works, we have to select 3 points. But to select these 3 points, we have to select the face, enter in edit mode. If it's not in vertex, we have to change to vertex, and select this external part of the eye, this other external part of the eye. This distance will be 86 millimeters. When you work with health models, you use millimeters like the main measure unit. Okay, so sorry too for the dogs. Here in the neighborhood have a lot of dogs and cats. So we selected the first, the second, and we have the third point, that is here. After select these 3 points, we will go here in Alinha com a câmera, or Align with the camera. Click. Okay. Now we will change the value here, medida real, that is real size, to 86, that is a real size. And after you put 86, enter. And after you click here in Alinha e redimensiona, that is align and resize. Okay? I click Z 2 times to see if the view, the face is in negative. The face is in negative because if I see in top view, the nose will be directed to the background. I see in front. Okay, I selected the face, and to turn the nose to the right side, you only click here in flip Z, and the face will be redirected. Okay, now I can put I will move the face to the side, this side, to avoid put the 2 objects in the same place. I will click Alt more 8 to put this face here again. And now what we have to do is align this face to this face, because if I click Alt more Z, this face that came from the CT scan doesn't have texture. This face that came from photogrammetry have texture, and because I have texture, we will use it to the form in more minutes when we start to move the parts of the bones. Okay, Z. To align these two objects, I will first select this face, that the original face, the face that will be the reference. Shift and select this second face with the right mouse button. Okay, I select 1, 2, and now I will click here in Alinha por pontos, that is aligned by points. I will click, and when I click, the graphical interface is split in two parts, and I will click here in the side and the other side to put the points, the same point in one side and the other side. Okay, 2, 2, 3, 3. If you click in a point that is not compatible, you can clean the last point with right mouse button and erase it. Click, 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 and until you select all points, all interest points. Well, we already have all points we need, and I will click enter, and the face will be aligned with the other face. I will put only in this layer, and now I will cut only the part of interest of the face. I'm seeing by right, Alt more Z, and now I go here in Importar Fotogrametria, and this button, Círculo de Corte, that is cut circle. I click one time and appear a circle. I will move this with G and select the interest part, that more or less this part here, or you can put a little more, because in orthognathic surgery the most important part is this. Okay, so I already have selected this circle. Shift, select the face. Okay, again, you already have the circle selected. Shift, select the face, and click here in cortar, that is cut. Click, wait a little, and the program will select only the frontal face, and you can delete this part, enter in object mode, edit mode, sorry. Go here over the part you want to delete, L, press L, and after X and vertices, and you will delete. So you already have this frontal face. Now you can see the frontal face is the same place of the other face, and this face you can put in other layer, for example here, and we have the frontal face in front of the bone. Okay, well, now we will start to do the osteotomy. What is the osteotomy? It's cutting the bones. We already separated this mandible, and now we will create the plane of cuts. The first plane of cut we will create is the mento, and you will click here in Plano Mento. I will click. When you click, appear here a plane of cut. You only have to move it with G, rotating, and put the place that you will cut. To make the task easier, I will click N key, and I will activate ambient occlusion here, and I will change this value to 7. Now you can see better the edges of the objects. Okay, N to hide, and we can to back with the osteotomy. I will hide this and this, putting it on other layer, and I will create the other 2 plane of cuts here, this plane of cut, and this other ramo direito, right side. Okay, we already have the 2 sides and the inferior part. So now we have to select the 3 plane of cuts, 1, 2, 3, and join the 3 in one object. To join it, you have to click here in juntar tudo, that's join all. When you click, all objects is one object only, like you can see here. Well, you already have the plane of cuts and the mandible. So the first thing you do to finish the osteotomy is select the mandible, or select the object will be cutted. Shift, select the object will cut. First, the object will be cutted. Second, the object will cut. Okay? Select 1, 2, and now you click here in Boolean chords, that is Boolean cuts. So you click, wait a little, and will appear this fabric in orange. You are seeing this is not. This is the original objects that we used in the same place of the new object cutted. So if I move here, we can see the cutted parts. Okay, but in this same place we have all the objects. To hide it, we can click on M and put in other group of layers, like here, and now we have in this layer only the mandible with the osteotomy. Well, the osteotomy was done, but the mandible is only one object. To separate this object, we have to click here in Separa Osteotomia, that is, separate the osteotomy. You click, wait a little, and after we have 3 objects, 3 different objects, like you can see here. Okay? Now we have to cut the superior part, the upper part. We have to cut the maxilla. To cut the maxilla, we have to create the plano maxilla. This is a plane of cut to maxilla, plano maxilla. Okay, we have to move it to upper part here, and you have to take care to see if all parts the plane cutted. You can see here, apparently all okay, yeah, all okay, nothing inside the cut. Okay, so the same thing we made before. Select the first, the object will be cutted, shift, the object will cut, and click in Boolean chords to make the Boolean. Wait a little until the process is finished, like here. When it appears, is that the process finished, and we will move these objects to the other group of layers. Now we have uncutted skull, And we have to separate this. Clicking here, separa osteotomia. We click, wait a little until the process is finished. Now we have the maxilla splitted. Okay? Well, the next step is configure the part of objects. But after start to configure, you have to put in right ortho and click in configura armature. That is configure armature. You click here and will appear an armature. The only thing you have to do is move it and put this part where the maxilla rotate, the mandible rotate, you have to put here. Okay, put here. And you can click in 8 to hide the object. Now, after you do it, you can start to configure all parts of the bone. The first part is here, the upper part. I select it and click in configura cabeça, configure head. After we select the maxilla and click here in configura maxilla, configure maxilla. After in the mandible, body of mandible, that is this part, and click in configura corpo mandíbula. After you will select the right part of the mandible and click in configura ramo direito. Direito is right. Select the left and click in configura ramo esquerdo. Esquerdo is left. Okay? And the last one is select the mento and click here in configura mento. Okay? Well, you have selected and configured all this part, but if I select, for example, the mento and put visible the face generated by photogrammetry, and I tried to move it, nothing will happen because you have to configure the soft tissue to start to move the parts using the bone. So to configure, the only thing you have to do is click here, configura dinâmica mole, that is configure or set up soft movement. I will click and wait a little, okay? And now if I select the mento, like I selected here, and move it, you'll see that the skin will move using like reference the mento. But to see better what's happened, you can to see by front, and here you have the button filete de visualização. That is nothing more than limitate the region of view, and with this limitation you can see the inside object. I will click here, I will create a window of selection, and inside this window of selection the objects that is inside will be visible and we can see inside or extruder. I will click here to select the mento. I will move the mento. I will select this part. You can see that I move this part and the mento follow the movementation. The movement. I will select this upper part of maxilla. I will click on G and you see what's happened. The same thing happened if I select this upper part of bones and this part of mandible. This is the influence that this object have on the soft part. Now we can to animate these movements, but before animate I will click in fillet de visualização again to see all objects in scene. I will put it hide, and I will keep visible only the skull to explain you that you can to record the movements you do. The first thing you have to do is change. Oops. The first thing you have to do is I will expand it here. I will change the end value to 100. Okay, so we have 100 keys. Okay, the second thing I will do is select all objects in scene, all bonds in scene. So you have have to take care to keep only the bonds in the scene. I selected all, and I will click in clipboard icon. You can see here. Click A. I clicked here, and I record all positions and rotation of this object in the number 1, in the key number 1, keyframe number 1. Now you can see here, you see a line. If you click here in final, you put this line in the final of key, that is 100. And here you can to move the parts you want. For example, if you want to do it, if you want to do it, if you want to do it. Okay. After, it's obviously wrong what I am doing. I'm not an expert in orthokinetic surgery, but here you can see that after I do it, I can select all, and I will click in this icon of clipboard. Click. After I click, I can to go to the start and the end, start and end, and see what's happened. And I click here. If I click here, I can see the animation with calm to see if all is okay. And if I put and if I make visible this layer, I can go here in the down part. I click with left mouse button without, and I have to keep clicked, and I can move it and see the animation and how it behavior. And I see that is not so good. I can put it more ahead. Okay, more or less here. Make only the bond on. I select all, and I click here again to record the position. Okay, it's important to know if you move an object, for example this object, and did click here, if you move and come back, the object will lost the information of animation, because this you have to move and click here to keep the animation data. Okay, this is how OrtogOnBlender works. We have here more buttons, but I imagine you already tired to listen my bad English. And in the future, we hope to create more tutorials, and you don't have to forget to save the file you worked. And if you have some doubt, please write for us. We will answer your email fast possible. Thank you for your patience, and I will see you in the next video. A big hug.